be the most beautiful day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in this evening for our Ukraine nightly report. Again, on the ongoing events in Ukraine for May the 2nd. We're now in a new month here, unfortunately, in this ongoing conflict. I believe it's day 68, if I'm not mistaken. Day 68, again, of this ongoing war here between Russia and Ukraine. Again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in this evening. Pyro, thank you so much for subscribing there. Lori, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Lost Bee, thank you so much for tuning in. Mythical, Suze, thank you so much for tuning back in. Annette, nice to see you. Dirk, thank you for tuning in. Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in. Opper, thank you so much for tuning in. Calgal, thank you so much for tuning back in. Again, Fancy Hat, thank you so much for tuning in to the stream tonight and helping in the moderation department over there in the live chat. Cindy, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Again, it's really awesome to see so many familiar faces tuning back into the stream tonight. Red-Blooded American, how are you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream this evening, to the reports. Cindy, Mother Saki, thank you so much for tuning in. Tango Down, thank you so much for stopping by and again helping with the moderator department over there on the live chats. Much appreciated. All the help both Tango and Fancy have been putting in over on those YouTube live chats during these reports. Thank you so much. Honey04, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much for the subscribe there on Twitch. Thank you again for tuning in tonight to get your information and your news here from the live stream. Again, we're going to be getting everybody caught up on not only the events of the last about 12 hours, but we'll also kind of go over some of the things that occurred over the weekend. I know there's been a lot of events that have occurred over the weekend. There's been a lot of big headline news there. We'll also, hopefully here soon, we'll be having a interview with Mehmet. I'm hoping to get that done this evening on stream with you guys. We're going to do a quick interview with him, kind of get caught up on everything that's been going on in his world, and not just with him, but what's been going on in the city there, in the capital city of Kiev. Kate, thank you so much for tuning in. Isawe, thank you so much for tuning back in tonight. Miss Chris, thank you so much for tuning in. Much appreciated, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you so much to everybody that is tuning into the live reports this evening. Again, really grateful to see so many familiar faces turning back in to the stream here, and as well as quite a few new people tuning in as well. Jack MC, thank you so much for tuning in there. Jenny, thank you so much for tuning in. With that, guys, we're gonna hop over here, and I'm gonna get us kind of going through our main headlines today. Again, Monday, May 2nd here. Again, we're in a new month in this conflict, as I mentioned earlier in the report. Over the weekend, again, we went from April there to May. And again, there was quite a few things that happened over the weekend. We'll cover a few of those. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took a visit to Kiev in one of the highest, I would say, the highest profile, highest priority U.S. delegations that have been sent to the capital city there in Kiev to meet with Zelensky. Again, the battle for the East, the battle for the Donbass region, is continuing to rage on and heat up. One of Russia's top generals, in fact, the top general that we've spoken about multiple times here on the show, was injured in recent days. Again, I might talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But the conflict there in the East has definitely ramped up. Russia has been able to take some incremental gains. Ukraine, though, however, has been defending many different areas, many different regions, quite successfully. Again, I believe we're in our third week now of this second phase of the war in Ukraine. Again, as the battle unfolds in the east, there, Mariupol, the Mariupol battle that was has been raging there in the city for well over a month now. Again, is looking like it's coming to a close now. There is still conflict occurring in and around that Avastal steelworks factory. However, evacuees from Mariupol, again, and its besieged steel plant, the Avastal there, the Avastal Steelworks, again, made their way towards safety today and over the weekend. Again, evacuations began of about 100 civilians from the Avastal plant after numerous previous failed attempts that we have reported on over the past week or two here, as they've been trying to get people out of that area. Again, more civilians remain in the sprawling maze under the steelworks facility, again, alongside thousands of Ukrainian soldiers who have refused to surrender to the Russian forces, again, which have bombed and heavily bombarded the surrounding area. A quick report to follow up on the Mariupol situation there. There will be civilian evacuations from Mariupol on Tuesday. Again, that came from a city council spokesperson there saying there will be civilian evacuations on Tuesday in Mariupol. Again, that was from their Telegram channel. So hopefully they will be able to get some more citizens out of there. A little bit of details from that report. Although it will evacuate Mariupol citizens, the convoy will actually be leaving from a roundabout near Berdyansk, a Russian-occupied city to the west of Mariupol, at exactly 7 a.m. local time is when they're going to be operating that evacuation route out of Mariupol. Again, thank you to everybody that is tuning in this evening to the stream. We are just getting started here. I'm currently bringing you guys the top headlines from this evening. Again, we just mentioned the escalating conflict in the east, and then the situation there in Mariupol. We will go into more of the in-depth there when we hop into two things. One, our situation room, our community aggregated posts. We'll have some information on that situation there, and as well as our open source maps and open source reports that we look at on the reports here. We'll also have some insight into the individual events that are occurring there on the ground, both in the east in the Donbass and in Mariupol. Ukrainian officials said a rocket strike hit the port city of Odessa, again in southwestern Ukraine, killing a child. Ukraine's military also said its drone strike has sunk 2 more Russian warships in the Black Sea. Russia's defense ministry said a strike on a military airfield near Odessa destroyed a runway and a hangar with weapons supplied by Western allies. The Pentagon, meanwhile, has confirmed reports that Russia's top-ranking military officer, again, that's General Valery Gerasimov, again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he was that top general there, again, traveled to the frontline Donbass region in eastern Ukraine. Again, there's been many reports of a lot of the Russian military hierarchy. A lot of these uh, these top generals that have either been killed or wounded during the war. There's quite a list that is starting to pile up. However, I mean, I will add, the Ukrainians have lost quite a few of their own higher ranked staff, military staff, as well. So there are casualties on both sides of the front. Again, the European Union energy ministers, they met in Brussels to discuss options for dealing with Russia's decision last week to stop delivering natural gas to Poland and Bulgaria. I believe that was last Wednesday. We reported on that here on the stream. Again, they have halted the gas flow to those countries, Poland and Bulgaria. Again, the bloc is also working on a potential EU-wide ban on importing Russian oil. European Union countries have already banned Russian coal starting in August. So again, not for a few months, but this war is again expected to continue on for some time. Again, Israel is demanding an apology from Russia for comments its foreign minister made about Nazism. Sergei Lavrov referred to Adolf Hitler as having, quote, Jewish origins in response to a question about Russia's claim that it had invaded Ukraine to, quote, denazify the country, which has democratically elected Jewish president, Zelensky, there in Ukraine. Again, it's the strongest condemnation of Russia by Israel since the war in Ukraine began on February 24th. First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Slovakia and Romania later this week to meet with Ukrainian refugees, aid workers, and teachers who are educating displaced Ukrainian children and U.S. military personnel stationed in Romania. Again, in sort of a high profile follow up here to the visit by that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which occurred in Kiev earlier this weekend. Again, Intel reports are now stating Putin could formally declare war on Ukraine as soon as May 9th. Again, this comes from U.S. and NATO officials. Uh, we've been speaking for a while now how on May 9th at that Victory Day parade, they were hoping to have a kind of a victory lined up, a kind of a win for the Russians lined up that the Kremlin could then advertise to the Russian people as a success. However, intel reports are kind of pointing in the direction of that it might be more likely that they kind of make an official war declaration in order to possibly mobilize more troops within Russia. So that's a possibility that we're looking at now. Again, Russian President Vladimir Putin could move to formally declaring war on Ukraine as soon as May 9th, again, which would allow for the full mobilization of Russia's reserve forces as they attempt to conquer eastern and southern Ukraine. Again, known as Russia's Victory Day, May 9th commemorates the Russians' defeat of the Nazis in 1945. Western officials have long believed that Putin would leverage the symbolic significance and propaganda value of that day to announce either a military achievement in Ukraine, which we have speculated on for much time here, either that or a major escalation of hostilities or both. Again, he could say, we've captured territory, we've had this victory, but we need to do more. And at that point, they would call up reservists. Again, they would call up those reservists. They would call up. They would mobilize, the Russian people into a much larger operation. Again, officials have begun to hone in on one scenario, which is that Putin formally declares war on Ukraine on May 9th. Again, to date, Russian officials have insisted that the conflict was only a, quote, special military operation that's direct from the Kremlin with the central goal of, quote, denazification. Again, that's what the Russians have been saying on public TV. That's what they've been saying on not only Russian state TV, but in the West, directed towards Western officials, towards Western media. That's the exact words they've been using. They've been referring to the war as, quote, their special military operation that's been like that since the 24th of February. And again, with the central goal of denazification, which is a narrative they've been building for some time as well. A quote from that report: I think he will try to move from his, quote, special operation. British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace told LBC Radio last week. Again, quote, he's been rolling the pitch, laying the ground for being able to say, look, this is now a war against Nazis, and what I need is more people. I need more Russian cannon fodder. Again, from that British Defense Secretary Ben Wallace. Now, I talked about this many times over the past few months. They had those initial battle groups that moved in. All right, a lot of those were those conscripts. They were young men in the Donbass region in Luhansk, Donetsk, that were called up to service, forced into service. We've watched interviews of some of these men, that were barely serving for 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more than that. And then they were immediately thrust onto the front lines with very little training and very little idea of what they were getting into. A lot of them were told that they were being sent in for training. etc. Again, Wallace added from that report that he, quote, would not be surprised, and I don't have any information about this, that he is probably going to declare on this May Day that, quote, we are now at war with the world's Nazis, and we need to mass mobilize the Russian people. Again, a little bit more context there. A formal declaration of war on May 9th would galvanize Russian citizens and surge popular opinion for the invasion. It would also, under Russian law, allow Putin to mobilize reserve forces and draft conscripts, which again, just really quickly there, to rehash this, uh, those conscripts from the Donbass region, the majority of them were young men, men anywhere from 18 to, I believe, 60, that were called up to service, and basically, threatened with jail time if they did not, again, report in. Uh, Again, let me stop that anthem. We got the Ukrainian anthem playing there in the background. Sorry for that. Again, if they did not report in, they would face things like prosecution. So this is kind of maybe pretext for them to do a move very similarly in Russian territory, on Russian territory, to further mobilize the Russian people there. Again, other options for May 9th include annexing the breakaway territories of Luhansk and Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. Making a major push for Odessa in the south is also possible, as I've stated before on the show, again, or declaring full control over the southern port city of Mariupol. Again, that battle is still raging on there in Mariupol, but it is again looking like it is coming to a close here, as the those Russian forces not only are kind of, they're continuing on one side to shell the Evastol steelworks, and on the other hand, they're coordinating what looks to be starting to coordinate a little bit to get civilians removed from the steelworks factory. What will come of those Ukrainian soldiers, however, is a completely different story. A lot of them have vowed to stay and fight until the last man at that steelworks factory. The U.S. has, quote, highly credible intelligence reports that Russia will try to annex Luhansk and Donetsk sometime in mid May. Again, the U.S. ambassador to the OSCE, Michael Carpenter, said on Monday there are also indications that Russia could be planning to declare and annex a, quote, People's Republic in the southeastern city of Kherson. I know we've reported on a referendum they were looking to push there, as well as they instated their own Russian city council there in the city of Kherson. This was last week that those events unfolded. That we brought you that news here on the live reports. Again, U.S. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said on Monday that there is a, quote, good reason to believe that the Russians will do everything they can to use May 9th for propaganda purposes. Direct quote from that report here. We've seen the Russians really double down on their propaganda efforts, probably almost certainly as a means to distract from their tactical and strategic failures on the battlefield in Ukraine. Ukrainian Prime Minister will tell Ukrainian Parliament that in its greatest peril, Ukraine is living through its, quote, finest hour. Again, directly from the mouth of Boris Johnson there, uh, set to tell the tale, to tell the Ukrainian Parliament that Verkhovna Rada, that Ukraine is living through its, quote, finest hour. Johnson will address the Parliament via video link on Tuesday. Okay, so this is a statement that is going to be made tomorrow. Again, according to a Downing Street news release that happened earlier today. Again, they said that's the quote there. Again, they're going to be, putting on display there is that Ukraine is again living through its, quote, finest hour. Again, quote directly from that Downing Street report, the British people showed such unity and resolve that we remember our time of greatest peril as our finest hour. Johnson will say, according to the news release, this is Ukraine's finest hour, an epic chapter in your national history that will be remembered and recounted for generations to come. Again, just a quick, a few updates here. That Avastal steel plant again is still, just to clarify, under constant fire. On Monday, an officer said a commander among the Ukrainian soldiers at the besieged Avastal steel plant says the complex has been under constant fire since early Monday. Mikhailo Verehishian, a chief of the Mariupol Patrol Police, told reporters, quote, after the Red Cross mission left, we have been under constant fire since the early morning. Artillery and naval artillery are firing nonstop on our positions. Airstrikes are constantly being launched. About 100 civilians were evacuated from the plant Sunday, but a further planned evacuation for Monday did not take place. Again, there will be civilian evacuations from Mariupol Tuesday. Again, according to that city council release, again, that's 7 a.m. local time. They are looking to proceed with those evacuations. 5 Russians were reportedly killed at Mariupol's Avastal's steel plant. Again, per a report from Ukrainian soldiers from the Azov Regiment. Again, whose soldiers continue to resist Russian forces at that steel plant in Mariupol. Again, they say 5 Russian soldiers were killed late Monday during an attempted assault on the plant, quote, after the partial evacuation of civilians from the territory of Avastal in the Mariupol. The enemy continues to fire on the territory of the plant, including buildings where civilians are hiding from danger, to carry out airstrikes, fire using naval artillery and tanks. Again, they claimed those reports via Telegram, their Telegram channel. Again, adding that 5 enemy occupiers were destroyed during the assault on the complex. Again, the United States again welcomes reports that some civilians have been able to evacuate Mariupol and encourages, quote, continued efforts to allow civilians to depart the southern port city and other cities under siege. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said Monday, again, we want to make sure that the limited humanitarian access we've seen in recent hours is not fleeting. Doing so would demonstrate that there may be a genuine humanitarian intent behind this evacuation and not just another craven attempt on the part of the Kremlin to change the narrative to achieve a PR victory. Again, Price said during a State Department briefing. So again, that's our main headlines for this evening. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit more in depth. We're going to hop over into our situation room, and we're going to take a look at some of the community aggregated reports from the past about 12 to 24 hours here. I think after we're done with those, we will be hopping into an interview here, hopefully with Mehmet. And so we'll get that going here shortly. Again, our situation room over on our Discord server, there's a link to that in the description below if you would like to join our Discord server. Everybody's welcome. You're also welcome to contribute reports and information to the situation room. We again, have a team of moderators over there that vet those posts, and so we try to keep, again, all of these community aggregated reports as vetted as possible. Again, when we think something is unconfirmed, when we know something isn't concrete yet, we let you guys know. When something is labeled as propaganda, we again try to make it as clear as possible to you guys when we are showing you that content. Again, you are more than welcome to join our Discord server. There's a link to that in the description below. That's discord.gg/Nemico, where you can, again, look at all of these reports. I don't have time to get through all of them when we have our nightly reports. However, we will go, again, through kind of the top ones here from our situation room. So our first post here tonight, again, comes from Kayuka, a longtime contributor over on our situation room here. Again, I'm going to switch over to our big screen so that we can see this stuff a little bit more in depth. Again, this comes directly from the Kiev Independent, again, a verified Twitter source that we've used many times, directly out of Ukraine. Again, Ukraine Prime Minister Boris Johnson to address Ukraine's parliament on May 3rd. That's tomorrow. Again, Johnson will become the first world leader to address Ukraine's Verkhovna Rada since Russia's full-scale invasion began on the 24th of February. Mariusa, thank you so much for subscribing to the stream this evening. Glad to have you on board there. Our next post comes from Pyrotech, and also a longtime contributor here on the Discord server. Again, this is a translated post from a Russian source. So again, take that as you may, with a grain of salt. Again, up to 90% of this report says that up to 90% of houses destroyed in territories liberated from invaders in Kharkiv region. Again, so I believe this actually is a Ukrainian report that was translated here. I first thought it was Russian. This does look to be a Ukrainian report, again, that was translated over by Pyrotech. Thank you, Pyrotech, for sending this over to the Situation Room. It says, during the day, the Russian military shelled residential areas of Kharkiv 5 times. As a result, 5 civilians were wounded, again, said Oleg Sinyahubov, head of the OVA there. Again, residential areas. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Residential areas were again affected. The private sector in the city center, Shevchenkovsky, and Kiev districts. 5 civilians were injured, said on television. He noted that the number of enemy shelling of the regional center has decreased thanks to the armed forces of Ukraine, but it is still dangerous to be on the street. The enemy is still shelling Kharkiv with MLRS. Uh, again, and also artillery as well as those MLRS systems. In the region, the invaders fired on Zolochev and a few other regions there. Izium is notable as well. Again, remains the hottest in that region. According to him, in the territories of the region liberated from Russian invaders, most, up to, quote, 90% of private houses, schools, kindergartens have been destroyed. There is no electricity and gas, and because of the ongoing fighting and shelling, it is dangerous to be there. So again, thank you, Pyrotech, for posting this in the Situation Room. If you guys would like to look at the source of that, it is right under his post in the Situation Room over on the Discord server. Our next post comes from a user called Deos. Deos. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Deos, thank you so much for sending this over. This, again, comes from the Kiev Independent, that same source on Twitter there. Again, from Security Council Secretary, Hungarian authorities knew of Russian full-scale invasion beforehand. Again, from the NSDC Secretary Oleksiy Danilov said that Russian President Vladimir Putin shared his plans to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine with Hungarian authorities. Again, prior to them actually going over the border. Very interesting reporting there. Very interesting information. Thank you, Deus, for sending that over on the Discord server. Our next post comes from ProcThing on the Situation Room, from a source on Twitter, Samuel Ramani. Again, a verified Twitter a poster here. Again, breaking news from earlier. Germany says it is open to an immediate EU embargo on Russian oil. Again, we've talked about this many times on the reports over the past week or so. This was in the cards, in the deck of cards there, especially for Germany. Germany said today that it was willing to back an immediate European Union embargo on Russian oil, a position shift that could lead to the EU imposing a ban within days. Again, reports Reuters. Again, Russian oil exports have largely been spared from international sanctions, which Ukrainian officials have criticized as allowing countries to still support Russia and fund its invasion of Ukraine. Very interesting reporting there. ProcThing, thank you so much for sending that over. Our next post here comes from 643. Thank you so much, 643, for sending this over on the Situation Room here. Comes directly from the New York Post. Again, Putin to undergo cancer surgery, transfer power to ex-FSB chief. Again, from a report. This is directly from today, May 2nd. I know there's been a lot of speculation of this in recent days. Again, there's a video here of Vladimir Putin awkwardly gripping his table and tapping his foot. Again, heightened speculation that his health is deteriorating. It could also just be nervousness. However, very interesting there. I know there's been a lot of speculation to this in recent months here. So again, I'll read you some of this article here. Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to undergo cancer surgery and temporarily hand over power to a hardline former federal police chief, according to a new report. Again, Putin will transfer control to Russia's government to Nikolai Patrushev, head of the Russian Federal Police Security Council, while he is incapacitated during and after the procedure, according to a video from the mysterious Telegram channel General SVR on Saturday. Again, this came from over the weekend. The channel, which is purportedly run by a Russian Foreign Intelligence Service lieutenant general known by the pseudonym Viktor Mikhailovich, reported that Putin has been told by doctors that he must undergo an operation. The anticipated surgery and recovery are expected to incapacitate Putin for a short time, according to the unconfirmed report. Again, emphasize there, unconfirmed report at this time. However, again, I will add that there has been a lot of speculation to this over the past few months. Quote here, Putin is unlikely to agree to hand over power for a longer period of time. The narrator of the video states, adding the control of the country will likely be in Patrushev's hands for no more than 2 to 3 days. Quote, I will say this is the worst option, the narrator adds. Patrushev is a outright villain. He is no better than Vladimir Putin. Moreover, he is a more cunning and I would say more insidious person than Vladimir Putin. If he comes to power, Russians' problems will only multiply. Viktor Mikhailovich ominously hinted that he and his allies will make certain efforts so that this does not happen, and I hope we will succeed. Interesting. Very interesting report there. Again, from the New York Post, posted by 643 over in the Discord server on our Situation Room. Again, thank you. Big shout out to all of our Intel analysts for providing these community aggregated reports over on the server. Our next one comes from XDemonics X over on the Situation Room. Again, this is a post from Conflict Radar 5 on Twitter. I believe, yeah, they are on an unverified report, but this is coming directly from Live UA Map. Again, it says new Russian missile strike at the bridge over Dnistrovsky alignment in Odessa region. Again, we'll get that up on Live UA Map here so I can show you guys here where that is located here in the east of Ukraine. So again, this was from 14 hours ago that this came in. Again, not too far from Odessa. Our next post here comes from Green Doggo. Again, this is from the Guardian.com here. It says dozens of Bucha civilians were killed by metal darts from Russian artillery. Again, these are flechettes here. Forensic doctors discover flechettes rarely used in modern warfare in bodies found in mass graves. It's very interesting that they decided to use flechettes. It's quite a older weapon system there. Dozens of civilians who died during the Russian occupation of the Ukrainian city of Bucha were killed by tiny metal arrows from shells of a type fired by Russian artillery. Again, forensic doctors have said pathologists and coroners who are carrying out post-mortems on bodies found in mass graves in the region north of Kiev, where occupying Russian forces have been accused of atrocities, said they have found small metal darts called flechettes embedded in people's heads and chests. Quote, we found several really thin nail-like objects in the bodies of men and women, and so did others of my colleagues in the region. Vladislav said, a Ukrainian forensic doctor told The Guardian, quote, it is very hard to find those in the body. They are too thin. The majority of these bodies come from Bucha Irpin region. Again, a very horrific report there from those civilian casualties that occurred in Bucha, in those, not just Bucha, but of many of those areas there around the Kiev region. So that wraps up our Situation Room community aggregated reports for this evening. If anybody PM'd any over to me that feel that they are worthy for me to bring up on tonight's report, please send me a PM, drop me a PM message real quick on Discord, and just be like, hey, I think this is worth a mention, and I'll take a look. Right now, I'm trying to get, again, a hold of Yoru here, and see if we can get him into a call. We can see if we can get him into a call here. And we're going to do a little bit of an interview with Mehmet. We're going to kind of get an update on what's been going on with him. And then after that, we're going to go through all of our live UA map updates, all of our open source updates from these conflict maps. We're going to take a look at all of those reports from about the last 12 to 24 hours here. Again, really quickly, I'm just waiting to see if he is ready or not. Again, thank you to everybody that's tuning in this evening. I see quite a few people tuning in again this evening to the report. Katie, thank you so much for tuning in. Dan K, Meat Popsicle. ME, thank you so much for tuning in. Sean Davis, thank you so much for tuning in. He asks, any news on Belgorod being hit? Yes, when I get over to the live UA map here, we will most definitely have some news for you guys on those strikes that have occurred in Belgorod. There's been many that have occurred in Russian territory now. So I think one thing I'd like to be clear on here, guys, is that this war is no longer just in Ukraine. This war has officially spread to Russia, so it's on Russian territory, and it's also spread to Moldova on Moldovan territory, namely the Transnistria breakaway region. Dustin says, Ola from Canada. Hello to you, Dustin. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Lost B83, thank you so much for tuning in. So Mehmet says he's still waiting for a translator to come through. He says, give me 15 minutes. No problem there. No problem there, bro. We will be waiting for you here on the stream. I think what we're going to do then is hop into our live UA updates, and I'm going to get you guys all updated on what's been going on as for those individual reports. Um, Christy, I'm not sure who that was that I saw subscribe there. Christian Marie. Christian Marie, thank you so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel this evening. Glad to have you on board and glad to have you tuning in this evening. Gobblies, thank you so much for following over there on the Twitch. Miss Chris, thank you so much. Gifted a 1-month tier sub to Honey04. Thank you so much for that, Miss Chris. And she also did that as well for Pyrotech. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Chris. That's highly, highly appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in. Every report, I'm pretty sure you're here tuning in. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Dirk Matthews says, show us Jerd McBird, the hunk of Nemico Discord, while we wait. I'm not sure if he's awake right now. I would love to get him on. In fact, actually, going forward, for my plan is for some of our live streams and reports, for a few of them anyway. I want to get some of our Discord mods that have been with us for a long time that have also been really beneficial when it comes to aggregating community intel. Some of this intel, some of these community aggregated reports and stuff. Namely, Jerd and some of those. Fallen Rays comes to mind. Some of our very common contributors. Some of our um, longtime contributors, I would say. I would like to get into group discussions, not necessarily for those open panel community discussions, but just while we're giving some of these reports, I can have them kind of on the sidelines, ready to jump in with information. They can read stuff from the chats with you guys, stuff like that. So we'll possibly look at doing that here in the future. As for those open panel discussions, I do have a few of those planned coming up as well. We hope to organize a few of those in the coming weeks for you guys. I know a lot of you were requesting some more of those open panel community discussions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hop into our live UA map here. Mike, thank you so much for subscribing. Much appreciated. We're going to hop into our live UA updates here. Really quickly, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to make sure we're on the Ukraine version there. And I'm going to scroll down to about the 12-hour mark. We'll go actually, we're going to go right down to about the 17-hour mark. Yeah, right here about the 17-hour mark, I think is a good place for us to start. Hugo, thank you so much for tuning in from LA this evening, I hope, from warm LA. Thank you so much for tuning in. again. Speedy Squirrel, thank you so much for tuning back in. Speedy, I love all the comments, man, you leave. I see your comments you leave on my posts and videos and stuff. I really appreciate that type of support, man. Just leaving those kind words and stuff. Highly appreciate that, and I'm really grateful for you to have you tuning back into the stream tonight, man. Again, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I hope it's warm and lovely over there in the UAE. I don't imagine you guys have that many squirrels over there in the UAE, though. All right, so without further ado here, starting at the 17-hour mark on our live UA map, Russian artillery deployed in the Endohar shelled Ukrainian positions elsewhere overnight. Again, you can see that on the map here, north of Crimea, in and around Zaporizhia and the Dnipro Oblast. Again, you can see Dnipro up here. Again, as this conflict goes on here, burns on slowly, I should add, in the east. It's very important to note that there are still strikes happening in the west, even though you don't see any on the map from the past 24 hours. There have been a fair share of attacks in the west and in around central and western Ukraine over the past week. If you watch some of our previous reports, you can see a lot of that reporting. Another thing to really note here, guys, is that the activity here in and around Odessa and in the south has heightened over the weekend, I should add. We have seen an increase in activity here. Again, 17 hours ago, Israeli Foreign Minister Lapid, quote, Foreign Minister Lavrov's remarks are both an unforgivable and scandalous statement and a terrible historical error. The Jews did not murder themselves in the Holocaust. The lowest level of racism against the Jews is to accuse the Jews themselves of anti-Semitism. Again, we reported on this earlier in the night. This came directly from the Israeli Foreign Minister Lapid. The Israeli FM said Lapid rails against Russian FM Lavrov's claims, again, that Hitler had, quote, Jewish blood. Quote, his remarks were unforgivable and ludicrous and a grave historical inaccuracy. Again, the Jews did not murder themselves in the Holocaust. Again, was those quotes directly from the Israeli foreign ministers. Very angry statements there as they fired back against the Kremlin for those statements. 16 hours ago, reports of explosion near Kherson. Again, that activity in the south here heating up as those Russian forces are looking to move westward. Okay, possibly link up with the element there in Transnistria. They want to cap this southern coast. I can most guarantee you guys that if they can cap the Donbass and Mariupol, that Odessa will be taken before this war is over. God forbid, the Ukrainians will most likely, if I was to speculate, I will say that what happened in Kiev will happen in Odessa, okay? The Russians are going to surround it. They'll most likely end up having to back off, okay? I doubt the Ukrainians and NATO, for that matter, are going to let another Mariupol occur in Odessa. However, that's not without saying that the Russians are going to try. Okay, the Russians are for sure going to attempt to move in to the south here. You can already see them carrying out strikes in this region as they want to link up with that breakaway region in Transnistria. We've talked a lot about this on the show over recent weeks. Okay, so I just got word from Mehmet. I just got word from Mehmet that he is ready. So we're going to hop back over into our newsroom here. And we're going to attempt to get into a call with Mehmet. And Gavur and Mehmet. All right, guys, one second.
Hello.
Let me make sure that my
Hello there.
Let me make sure that everything is coming through.
Dur.
Okay.
Doğrudan yayını alacak herhalde.
Okay. Alrighty. So,
Kontrol edeyim.
Mehmet, thank you for joining us. Okay. Oh, wait, hold
Sana
on.
bu arada kanalın linkini attım.
Just gonna make sure that you guys can hear me here. One second. Hello.
We can't hear you right now.
Can you hear me?
We
Sen
still can't hear you. Oh.
Okay, 1 second.
Ben duyamıyorum bunu.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Can everybody on the stream hear Mehmet and Gavur? Let's just, before we go ahead, Mehmet, just give a shout out to the stream. Gavur, give a shout out to the stream. Can you guys hear them?
Kanka
Hello there.
istersen ismini söyle yoksa sana gavur derler ha.
Okay, yes. They say that they hear you guys. Awesome. Okay, Gavur, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. What country are you from, Gavur?
Well, Turkey.
You're from
Like yours.
Turkey. I'm so glad to have you on this evening, translating for us. It is a huge help, man. It's highly appreciated. Nice to have you on the show. Thank you so much for doing this evening.
Well, it's a pleasure for me to do that.
Awesome. Mehmet, how are you doing? How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, where are you?
I'm also doing well, Mehmet. My first question for Mehmet is just how are things going? How have you been? I know it's been a bit since we've had you on the stream. Gavur, if you could ask him, how has he been since the last time we have spoke to him? How are things going?
Son konuştuğumuzdan beri nasılsın, neler yapıyorsun, durum nedir diye soruyor.
Son konuştuğumuzdan beri Kiev'de işler daha normalleşti. Hemen hemen çoğu yer, işte bazı restoranlar, bazı bankalar açık. Onun dışında bir tane kediyi Ukrayna'dan çıkarttım 1,5-2 hafta önce. Onun tahliyesini yaptım. Paris'e gittim, geldim. Çok uzun bir yolculuktu. Uzun ve yorucu bir yolculuktu. Şu an
He says it's been a lot different in Kiev right now. It's a lot calmer since the last time. And he says he visited Paris since your last talk, and he saved a cat from Ukraine.
Yep. Yeah, he had mentioned the cat rescue operation. We had to keep the lid tight on the cat rescue operation for operational security, of course. When he was, of course, conducting his movements out of Ukraine and over to Paris. There, again, just to remind everybody that is watching the stream right now, Mehmet is currently in the capital city of Kiev. He is in Ukraine at this time. Again, coming to us live. Gavur, if you could ask him, how did his trip to Paris go? Was it stressful for him? Was it successful in the end? Was it successful? Did they save the kitty? And again, just how did that go?
Paris'e ziyaretin nasıl geçti? Herhangi bir sıkıntı yaşadın mı? Stresli miydi senin için? Kediyi kurtarabildin mi? Rahatça diyor.
Paris'e gidene kadar herhangi bir sıkıntı yoktu. Ancak Paris'e gittikten 2 gün sonra kedi hastalandı. Bir operasyon geçirmek zorunda kaldı. Bunun için zaten bazı kişiler bilir, bağış kampanyası oluşturduk. Orada birçok insan destek oldu. En büyük destekçi de yine Nemico'da olan bir insan, Kimberly. O yardımcı oldu. Onu da buradan ayrıca teşekkür ediyorum. Daha sonra işte bir hafta kadar, kedi iyileşene kadar Paris'te kaldım ve sonra geri döndüm. Yani yorucu olması dışında çok fazla stres yaşamadım.
He says there were no problems until reaching to Paris, but after that, cat got sick and went into surgery, and they needed some money for that surgery. So they started a crowdfunding, and someone in Nemico, named as Kimberly, helped them. And he says thank you to Kimberly.
Awesome. I would just like to, I would also just like to thank Kimberly as well, and to everybody over in the Nemico community Discord that helped, that might have helped Mehmet in his operation there, in the cat rescue operation. Again, completely awesome work you guys did there. Helping Mehmet, get all the, not only the information he needed, but the funding he needed for them to get that. Um, that kitty into surgery. I know. So, Gavur Mehmet mentioned to me at one point that when he came back over the border into Ukraine, that the border was very busy. Could he tell us a little bit about the situation on the border when he came back over? Were there people still leaving Ukraine? Were most people coming back to Ukraine? What did it look like there? And was it different from when he first went over the border into Poland?
Sınırdan şu an geçerken en son geçtiğinde durum nasıldı? İlk gittiğindeki gibi bir yoğunluk var mıydı? Hala insanlar Ukrayna'dan çıkmaya çalışıyor mu?
Slovakya sınırından geçtiğim için bu sefer Slovakya sınırında çok fazla bir şey yoktu. Kuyruk yoktu. Ama dönüşte, Ukrayna'ya dönüşte çok fazla bekledim. Yaklaşık 2 saat, 2,5 saat falan sınırda bekledim. Çünkü bayağı yoğundu. Çünkü insanlar geri dönüyordu. Yani benim şahsi düşüncem, geri dönme sebepleri yani adaptasyon olamadılar veya hani paraları bitti veya Kiev ve Lviv'de işler daha iyi olduğu için belki dönmeyi tercih ettiler.
He says it was a little bit calmer in the border this time. Some people are returning to Ukraine instead of leaving, but he waited for like 2.5 hours in the border. And he says it might be because of financial problems of the people who left the country, or some people can't just integrate in other countries. So some of them are returning to Ukraine right now.
I see. Could you ask Mehmet? I see. So, could you ask Mehmet? Is he working now that he's back in Kiev? Now that he's back home, has he been working? What has he been doing to pass his time? Has again, has he been playing games still? Has he been going for walks? Does he get out of the house much? Is there still a curfew in the city there? If you could ask him just kind of what the situation is like on the ground in the city.
Döndüğünden beri Kiev'de neler yapıyorsun? Zamanını nasıl geçiriyorsun? Yine oyun oynuyor musun? Ya da işte sokağa çıkma yasağı falan gibi durumlar var mı?
Şu an için zaten iflas ettiğim için, herhangi bir işim olmadığı için genelde yayın yapıyorum, oyun oynuyorum. Biraz da gece yaşadığım için hayatı, gündüzleri pek dışarıya çıkma vaktim olmuyor. Çünkü gündüzleri uyuyorum. Ama erken kalktığım saatlerde dışarıya çıkıp geziyorum. Burada Kiev'de sokağa çıkma yasağı biraz daha esnek. Çünkü 23'te bitiyor sokağa çıkma yasağı.
He says most of the time of the day he just sleeps. At the night he plays and streams through YouTube, I assume. And curfew is a little bit calmer right now also, as it ends on 11 p.m. And most of the time, if he gets up early in the morning, he takes a walk. Instead of that, it's just the same for him.
Since he's been back in the city, since he's gotten back from Paris, how many incidences of air raids, more specifically, how many bombardments has he seen in his immediate vicinity, in and around where he lives? How many bombardments has there been? How many strikes have there been from the Russians since he's been back from Paris?
Paris'ten döndüğünden beri yakın çevrende hiç hava saldırısı oldu mu? Bunlar olduğunda, eğer olduysa sen neler yaptın?
Ya Kiev'de zaten saldırılar durdu ama birkaç gün önce Birleşmiş Milletler'den bir temsilci Kiev'i ziyarete geldiği gün yakınıma
Amcanız öyleydi
yaklaşık
galiba.
yok direkt Birleşmiş Milletler üyesi temsilcisi
Hı hı.
yetkili yani. Geldiği zaman yaklaşık 3-4 kilometre yakınındaki bir yere füze atıldı. 5 tane füze atıldı. 2 tanesi isabet etti. 3 tanesi hava savunma sistemi tarafından imha edildi. E, O işte çok yakında. Onun dışında herhangi bir olay olmadı. Birkaç gündür de pek fazla siren de çalmıyor.
Well, it's been a lot calmer since the beginning of the war in Kiev right now. But like a few days ago, when a United Nations representative visited Kiev, there was an air assault, and it was 3 missiles, and some of them are stopped by the air defense systems, but that's all.
So just that one strike then. So I guess we're running a little bit out of time here, but I think one topic I think we should really ask Mehmet about. I've heard rumors that he's in the midst of getting another pet rescue operation going on called Dasha's Dozen. Could he tell us a little bit about that? Is he looking to do some further pet rescue operations there in Ukraine?
Halihazırda orada Dasha yine kedi kurtarma operasyonu varmış sanırım. Bunun gibi başka da evcil hayvanları kurtarmak için halihazırda olan operasyonlar var mı?
Ya, benim bildiğim yok. Ben genelde operasyonlarımı bireysel yapıyorum. Ee, tabii bazı organizasyonlar var ama şu an için benim dahil olduğum bir organizasyon yok.
He says he's working individually and he's not aware of any operations if there is. And that's it.
So he is going to be looking to rescue some more animals then in the city.
Başka hayvanları öyle kurtarma gibi bir planın var mı?
Tabii eğer böyle bir konuda ihtiyaç olursa tabii ki de kurtaracağım.
If there's a need for that, he probably do it, as he says.
Is Mehmet is he still streaming on Twitch and YouTube? Does he stream daily? Where can people find Mehmet if they want to go and they want to watch his stuff? Where's the best place?
Eğer
Twitch.
senin çalışmalarını izlemek istiyorlarsa Twitch mi YouTube mu? Hangisinde
Twitch.
seni daha rahat bulabilirler? Twitch.
Twitch. Çünkü yayın yaptığım zaman Twitch'ten yapıyorum. Ee, Yayınlarda şarkı çaldığım zaman bir süre sonra YouTube beni engelliyor. Canlı yayını durduruyor. Twitch'te böyle bir problem yaşamıyorum. O yüzden yayınlarımı Twitch'ten devam ettiriyorum.
Because of the copyright strikes of YouTube on music, he prefers Twitch. So he mostly uses Twitch for streams.
If he wouldn't mind, if if Mehmet really quickly, just if he could link his Twitch to me in the group chat. There we go. Awesome. Yeah. So Mehmet actually sent me over his link tree, guys. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna post this in the live chat. For everybody that is interested in checking out anything to do with Mehmet, I'm posting this in the live chat now. This is a link to his link tree where you can find everything from his Twitch to his YouTube channel, all that stuff. His Instagram. You guys can find everything about Mehmet on that link there. My last question for Mehmet here is again, how is he holding out? Is morale good on the ground there in Kiev? and just how does he see this going forward from somebody that's on the ground in the city there in Kiev? What's the morale like, and how does he see this ending? How does he see this going forward?
Genel olarak moralin nasıl? Nasıl dayanıyorsun? Oradakiler nasıl ve ne olmasını bekliyorsun? Ne olacağını düşünüyorsun?
Ya benim genel olarak moralim normal, yani standart. Hani herhangi bir iyi ya da kötü bir şey yok. İnsanların morali daha iyi. Çünkü savaşın ilk günlerine göre gayet normal bir şehir hayatı devam ediyor. Yani tamam, her yer açık değil ama neredeyse savaş öncesi hali gibi şu an Kiev. Hani kafeler açık, restoranların bazıları açık, alkol satışı serbest. Yani bu benim şahsi düşüncem. Savaş biraz pasif hale gelip sadece doğu ve güney bölgelerinde devam edecekmiş gibi duruyor. Eğer anlaşmaya varılmaz ise.
Most of the social life are being normalized, and people are better, on contrary of the first days of the attack, and like that. And most of the cafes are open, and social life are active. So unlike the first days of the war, of course, there are no fear like that. And he thinks that most of the war, as it seems, going to be in the south of the country if
That's
they get into an agreement.
right. Well, again, thank you. I hope. Uh, I guess one last thing I would like you to tell Mehmet is, first of all, everybody in the chat right now I see is thanking Mehmet. Everybody's sending him their best wishes. Again, I want Mehmet to stay safe. I thank him for coming on the show and having an interview with us this evening. To everybody, if you haven't already, go check out Mehmet's Twitch channel. You can find that in the Linktree link I just posted. Go follow his Twitch. Mehmet, Gavur, thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. Thank you for coming on and answering these questions from everybody. As usual, we love having Mehmet on the show. It's very insightful. It's very useful having this firsthand account of what's going on the ground there, as well as he's become a friend of not just myself but everybody on the stream. And so keeping up to date with what's going on there with him is always great. So again, thank you guys so much for coming on this evening.
Well, thank you. SLAVA UKRAINI.
Yes. Mehmet also posted me his donate link. If you would like to donate to Mehmet, I'm actually going to post this in the live chat right now, guys. If you'd like to donate to Mehmet over there, again, there's a link in the live chat. And go ahead, follow his Twitch if you haven't already, guys. He streams over there directly from the capital city of Kiev in Ukraine. He live streams video games, I think almost daily, if I'm not mistaken, over on his Twitch channel. Actually, one more question, Gavur. How does Mehmet know how Dasha is doing? Is Dasha doing good? Can he give us a status update on how Dasha is doing?
Dasha nasıl diye soruyorlar.
Aşa şu an mutlu ve sağlıklı. Polonya'daki aile ona çok iyi bakıyor. Onu sürekli neredeyse her hafta sonu ormanda gezintiye çıkartıyorlar. Şu an Daşa iyi. Vize başvurular açıldığı zaman vize almayı deneyip gitmeyi planlıyorum. Ama şu an için vize başvuruları kapalı.
Every weekend, it's new family taking a walk with it in the forest. It's safe and healthy right now, and Mehmet wants to visit them, but it's not easy since they can't apply for a visa right now.
Right. I know that's unfortunate. Could is there any way somebody could bring him Dasha in the future?
Bir başkası da şey getirebilir mi diyor gelecekte.
Belki.
Maybe.
Ama yani kimsenin onu üstleneceğini sanmıyorum.
He
Ama
doesn't think
yine bir gün buluşacağız.
he doesn't think that someone will take action for that like he did.
Well, we'll keep praying. Again, Gavur, Mehmet, thank you guys so much for being on the show this evening. As always, it's awesome to have you guys on for the interview. Mehmet, stay safe, brother. Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you. We will have you on the show again. This is not the last we have heard from Mehmet. Again, out of the capital city of Kiev. There, Gavur, you have been an excellent translator tonight, man. Thank you so much for
thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you too, bro.
All right, Mehmet. Again, thank you guys so much for coming on the show tonight. Until next time, guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
All right, guys. That was a wonderful interview there with Mehmet. Again, if you'd like to follow Mehmet, guys, if you'd like to check out his Twitch, again, he live streams directly from the ground in Kiev, in the capital of Ukraine. Again, I just posted his link tree there, guys, where you can check out his Twitch channel. Go follow him on Twitch. All right. Again, guys, go show him the love there. I appreciate him coming on, taking the time to update you guys on what's been going on with him. Gavur, awesome job translating tonight. Thank you so much. We couldn't get our usual translator, Knight, on. He was not able to make it tonight. Benny Hill, I got to say, man, thank you so much for showing the support over there with the super chat. He said, thank you, guys. Thank you, Benny Hill, man. That is highly appreciated. You've been a long time follower here on the stream, on the reports. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It means a lot to me. Again, really awesome that we were able to get that interview with Mehmet done. We had been trying to get him on the show for a while. Again, guys, go check out Mehmet's Twitch if you haven't already and give him a little shout out there. Go give him a follow. So, guys, hopping back over into our reports for this evening. We're going to finish up quickly here as we come. We're actually 7 minutes past the hour here, an hour in of reporting here. So, again, I've been trying to keep the reports to about an hour. We always end up getting more so an hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours. So, I'm trying to keep things a little condensed here. However, we're going to get back over to our main screen. And I'm going to keep going through our primary reports, our open source reports from this evening. Actually, a longtime contributor, really quickly before we continue on with that, a longtime contributor, Keenan, over on the Discord server, sent me some interesting reporting here, guys. Again, I just, I have to, again, say, I think this is a bit of speculative stuff here, or possibly unconfirmed. Actually, okay, let's just read it first, and then we can kind of decide for ourselves here. Keenan says, "I talked to my first general today, Mark Hertling, commanding general of the United States Army Europe and 7th Army. Hertling served in armor, cavalry. Sorry for that. Planning, operations, and training positions." And commanded every organization from platoon to field army. He commanded the 1st Armored Division and Task Force Iron/Multinational Division North in Iraq during the troop surge of 2000 to 2008. He's also an expert in Russian war tactics and helped train the Ukrainians. He's on Twitter and he posted an interesting article that may interest you. Again, Keenan sends over this article here. We'll read a little excerpt from it here, probably not the entire thing. Again, this is posted on the bulwark.com. Again, it says, in March 2011, I began a new posting as commanding general of the U.S. Army Europe 7th Army. in command of all U.S. Army forces stationed in various countries throughout Europe. It was a dream job, as it was in that command in a different time and under much different circumstances that I begun my career 36 years earlier as a second lieutenant platoon leader, leading tanks on patrols of the then West German border. Back then, it was our job to defend against the Soviet hordes. But by 2011, things had changed. The size of the U.S. Army in Europe had shrunk dramatically from the 250,000 soldiers stationed there during the Cold War, and it would shrink even more during my 2 years in command. The Warsaw Pact countries, who had been our foes during the Cold War, were now our NATO allies and sovereign partners, and there was no border wall splitting Germany in two. Countries like Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, and Hungary, and the Baltic states, and the others had transformed their governments and their militaries since the early 1990s, and a few of them were even fighting shoulder to shoulder with the United States in Afghanistan and Iraq. He says, over the course of nearly 4 decades, I spent a lot of time either engaging or working with the two armies now engaged in a bitter struggle in Ukraine. I met their leaders, observed their maneuvers, and watched their development closely, either up close or through reading intelligence reports. Strangely, one memory that stands out had more to do with trumpets and rim shots than tanks and rifles. Again, I'm trying to get on here to some of the meat of this article here. He says, my war stories about the Russian and Ukrainian militaries are also anecdotes with no associated metrics or figures, but they give indications of what I've seen of the performance of the two armies now facing each other, other on the battlefield, my experiences observing or participating in exercises, personnel engagements, and training aren't meant to explain, much less predict, what's going on in Ukraine as that nation's military fights its Russian foe. Again, but I like to think that they offer a little depth and color about who the people fighting in Ukraine are. Again, he goes on into a lot of context there. I would like to read the entire thing, but I don't believe we have time this evening. However, I believe Keenan has posted this over in the Situation Room. Keenan, if you haven't posted it in the Situation Room yet, if you could drop it in there for everybody to go and read, that would be a fascinating read. I believe this would be a very enlightening article for you guys to check out over on the Discord server in the Situation Room there. Keenan, if you can get that posted. If not, I'll try to post it there myself. Returning to our open source reporting, here on the Live UA map. 15 hours ago, explosions reported near Odessa. Again, I was talking earlier about how the activity here in the south on that southern coast has ramped up in the past few days. 15 hours ago, Ukrainian military hit Russian positions near Solikhivka village near Izium in the Kharkiv region. You can see a picture here of the smoke billowing from those strikes. I believe there's also a video here posted on Twitter of what seems to be some of those strikes, some of the smoldering aftermath from those strikes there. Again, those strikes occurred near Izium in the Kharkiv region. 15 hours ago, new Russian missile strike at the bridge over Dinotrivsky Lyman in the Odessa region. Again, to the south of Odessa. Again, you can see another explosion reported in that region. 14 hours ago, security services foiled Russian attempt to destabilize the situation in Odessa. 12 suspected saboteurs detained. Weapons and ammunition seized. Also, 2 persons connected to former MP Ilya Kiva detained in that area. Again, 15 hours ago, that report came. Also, near Odessa is where that report came out of. 14 hours ago, explosions again audible in Odessa. No alert sounded, interestingly enough, when those explosions were heard. Again, look at all of the activity that has happened just inside Odessa, not to mention in the regions in and around Odessa. 13 hours ago, a Russian drone shot down over the Black Sea near Odessa today at about 13:23. Again, you can see that located on the map there over the water in Ukraine. 12 hours ago, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine announces that its staff hopes to return to Kiev by the end of May. Again, this comes as we've heard of these reports of the U.S. looking to reopen its embassy in that capital city in the coming weeks. We've heard multiple reports over the past week or two of them looking to reopen that embassy there. 10 hours ago here, German Chancellor says Russia's brutal attacks on civilians in Ukraine revealed the extent of Moscow's violation of the United Nations Charter. Again, that was posted 10 hours ago. 10 hours ago here, Russian army continues shelling of residential areas of Popsana. Again, you can see that located on the map here in the east, not too far from the Luhansk region. I believe that technically falls into the Luhansk Oblast, if I'm not mistaken. 10 hours ago, shelling in Kharkiv. Video here posted as well. You can see the location on the map there. I believe this source is from Telegram. You can see, I've noticed this a lot lately, the blurring of these images here. Again, you can see the smoke rising from that reported shelling that occurred there, again, from an unverified Telegram source here. Again, so take that with a grain of salt. 8 hours ago, in the Kharkiv region, 3 people were killed and 8 were injured as a result of Russian shelling. Again, that was in the Kharkiv region, one of the heaviest hit places. Again, I've said this multiple times on the show over the past weeks. Kharkiv continues to be one of the heaviest bombarded areas, as it is very close to the Russian border. Eight hours ago, big explosions in Odessa, reportedly infrastructure object damages in that region. You can see where that explosion was reported there, not too far from that airfield there. You can see the pictures of the smoke plumes rising from those explosions. Again, reported in Odessa around 8 to 9 hours ago from now. 8 hours ago, General Valery Jeremyasayev, chief of staff of the Russian military, was recently in Ukraine, says U.S. senior defense officials. Quote, "We know he was in the Donbass for several days beginning last week. We don't know if he is still there at this time." Again, we've reported on incremental, spotty and incremental gains being made by the Russians. Again, a report from earlier, about 7 hours ago, says Russians are not holding gains in the Donbass. Quote, "They'll move in, declare victory, and then pull out, allowing the Ukrainians to take it back." Per a senior U.S. defense official, says Russian forces appear risk casualty averse and anemic. Very interesting. 7 hours ago here, Russia has launched nearly 2,125 missiles into Ukraine in 68 days of war. Again, we are on day 68, unfortunately, of this bloody conflict that continues to grind on in the beautiful country of Ukraine. Again, no major change from yesterday. Senior U.S. defense officials say that's just over 30 missile launches in 24 hours. Russia's focus is on isolating Ukrainian troops in the Donbass and besieged city of Mariupol. 7 hours ago, there are dead and wounded as a result of that Russian missile strike in Odessa, says the head of the regional administration. Again, that located here on the map. Many strikes occurring in Odessa over the past 12 hours here. 7 hours ago, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, met with Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Denmark, Jeppe Kofod. Again, you can see a picture of their greeting there. Again, I believe that meeting took place in Kiev, if I'm not mistaken. 7 hours ago, big smoke column visible over the Avestal Steelworks factory. Again, that last pocket of Ukrainian-controlled territory in the city of Mariupol. Again, as that conflict winds down, it looks to come to a close here as they are looking to evacuate not only the civilians, but they're also, again, there's reports, that those Avestal soldiers are, those Azov soldiers are going to remain there at the plant till the bitter end to fight to the last man. Will they evacuate at the last minute after they get the civilians out? It remains to be seen. Possible, though. We'll have to keep a close eye on that situation. Zero users, thank you so much for subscribing. Brandon Coop, thank you so much for subscribing. Glad to have you guys on board here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the stream and to the YouTube channel this evening. 7 hours ago here, reportedly air defense engaging aerial threats over Kiev in the Mykolaiv region. Again, you can see a video on, I believe it's Telegram here. Yes, we have a Telegram source here of that footage. Again, you can see blurred out in the bottom there to keep operational security. Again, you can hear what is reported to be air defense engaging threats over that region. Again, that source from Telegram there is unverified. However, it is worth showing it to you guys here as it has been geolocated at least 7 hours ago. 13-year-old was unfortunately killed. A 17-year-old girl was wounded among casualties of Russian missile strikes in Odessa. Again, you can see where those strikes occurred in the city there. Multiple strikes in the past 12 to 24 hours, unfortunately killing and maiming multiple individuals. 6 hours ago, bridge blown up between Liman and Sloviansk. You can see located on the map here. You can see the picture of the damage to that bridge on screen now. 5 hours ago, said U.S. warns China it will be subject to sanctions if it would send weapons to Russia. Again, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of speculation that China will get more involved here in aiding Russia with financial aid, with lethal aid, defensive aid, etc. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes further. Those sanctions, again, could very much increase tensions in the region if China decides to follow through on those decisions there. 4 hours ago, 2 civilians were unfortunately wounded as a result of Russian army shelling in Barakhovy. Significant damage in the Fesky village of Zolochiv community. Again, you can see that located on the map here. Go ahead and refresh our live UA map just to make sure we don't have any reports that have slipped in. We have a few here. Kharkiv Oblast, 4 hours ago. Air raid alert sirens. Poltavska Oblast, air raid alert sirens. And Donetsk Oblast, 3 hours ago. Air raid alert sirens. You can see here, guys, over the past 12 hours here, all of the locations where air raids have occurred. This battle is, again, the battle in the east here is continuing to rage on. It's continued to ramp up. There are still Russian battle groups moving over the border into Ukraine. Again, there's incremental gains being made by the Russians. However, if they're able to hold that territory is a whole other story. Again, that concludes our reports for this evening from our live UA map sources. We're going to switch over now to just a very quick Q&A session from our live chats. If you guys have any questions or comments, now is the time, and we can get those going for you guys. Isaac says we need an again counter. Yes, I believe we also need a counter for every time I say and every time I say lost night as well. Again, got to work on those clutch words. I'm working on that. Again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, Isaac. Glad to have you tuning in to the stream this evening. Again, huge shout out to Tango Down and Fancy Hat. You guys helping over there in the moderator department on the live chats this evening. Highly appreciated. Jenny McGowan, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Dirk Matthews says, is the sound gone? We currently do not have any sound except my audio coming through to you. Speedy Squirrel says, thanks, Nemico. Well, thank you, Speedy Squirrel. Glad to have you tuning in tonight. Exploring the Zunios says, with a super chat here, says, thank you for the fantastic coverage. The avatar still freaks me out, though. Well, thank you so much, Zunios, for not only the support, but just tuning in and bearing with the avatar. Again, it means a lot to me to have you tuning into the stream. And thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to come and get some information and some reports on what's going on for me here. It means a lot to me. Again, the avatar is part of an ongoing experiment, which is this news reporting, which is this this ever-evolving format. Okay, I do plan to have a face reveal when we reach 100,000 subscribers. So we got to have some kind of something to look forward to there. However, again, the avatar is kind of always changing, and I do plan to make some improvements to it going on. Again, the idea there is we can be any reporter we want to be. Tiger Eye 912 says Nemico Network heard anything about this quote cholera epidemic that Russia is supposedly expecting. No, I actually have not heard reports of that yet. However, if it continues to be reported on, I will bring you that information. I haven't heard anything on it yet, though. If anybody has any information they want to contribute to the Situation Room for our next reports, by all means do that, or PM me over that information, and I can always take a look at it. Lost B83 says, does anybody else think Nemico should have a battle helmet on his avatar? Lost B83 is funny you say that because I actually was planning to do this originally. I was going to put this avatar in a hard helmet and a tactical vest with press logos on it, like a war reporter. However, the avatar system I'm using right now doesn't allow me to do that. The helmet messes it up. I could possibly do that with a vest that says press on it. So I could maybe look into doing that. Maybe we'll get that going. Jenny McGowan says, Nemico, don't change your speech. I like it. Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for those kind words. I appreciate that. Again, Jenny, thank you so much for tuning back into the stream. Again, you're a returning viewer. You've been here for quite a while. It means a lot to me to have you tune in back in to the live stream. Annette, thank you so much for tuning back in. Says, Nemico, when is Putin having surgery? I don't know the specific dates. However, that is a U.S. intelligence report. Again, we're waiting to get more concrete information on that. We haven't had anything from the Kremlin directly. So yeah, we'll have to wait on that. Cam955 with an excellent question says, will the May 9th announcement from Putin be a big problem for Ukraine and Moldova with the declaration of war thing? That remains to be seen. However, it really depends on how broad that declaration is. Is it just an official declaration of war against Ukraine? Is it a declaration of war against NATO? Is it a declaration of war against Ukraine and Moldova? Again, that remains to be seen. However, what it does imply is that they'll have increased mobilization, and so that could have some consequences. Again, it remains to be seen. Exploring with Zunio says Lookner went MIA, so this is a great sub. Well, thank you so much, Zunios. I actually don't know who Lookner is. I see people refer to other streamers sometimes. I'm not too familiar with who he is, but again, I appreciate the fact that you are choosing me to get some of this information. I try to do my best, guys, to take every step I can to improve the reporting. Every time I come and give a new report to you guys, I try to do things a little bit better every time. And so that in hopes in the future we'll have the ultimate format here to bring you guys. Mrs. Fishy says, I bet Nemico looks like Mr. Bean. You never know. You never know. Julia says, I like the avatar, especially the tie. Well, thank you so much, Julia. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. So I had a few people send over posts real quick here that we'll take a look at just before we get going here. Exploring Zunio says maybe Nemico is Mr. Beast. You never know. You never know. All right, so really quickly here, I'm going to go over these two posts. We had Kayuka sent over a post here And this is about the cholera outbreak. So we actually had Tiger Eye and Kayuka sent something over about the cholera outbreak here. So we're going to take a look at this really quick because a few of you guys sent this over. Again, it says the Russian Federation is apparently preparing for the cholera epidemic in the regions bordering Ukraine. This was reported by the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense on Telegram. Again, this report comes from Ukrainiform. According to Ukraine's intelligence, Russia's chief state sanitary doctor Anna Popova signed a resolution, quote, on additional measures to prevent cholera. It focuses on additional prevention measures in the regions bordering Ukraine, Bryansk, Kursk, Belgrade, and quite a few other regions there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this over. Tiger Eye sent over the same one from Ukrainiform. I'm going to take a look over that article, guys, and I'll probably include some information on that in tomorrow's report because that's definitely interesting. That was the first I had heard of that. Robohasi says, I have called out the again thing in a joking way, but for real, Nemico, we wouldn't be coming back here if your reporting wasn't excellent. Love it. And again, that includes the again thing. Well, thank you so much, Robohasi. I actually appreciate that highly, man. Again, as I said, I'm trying to get better with some of those clutch words and stuff like that, but I do appreciate you guys and all those kind words. I try to read everybody's comments. I don't always get a chance to reply to everybody's comments, guys, because I get hundreds of them. That goes for PMs as well and emails. But I try to read at least all of them, guys, and I try to reply to as many of them as I possibly can. Michelle Welch, thank you so much for tuning in. Says Nemico, you do a great job always. Look forward to hearing your updates. And happy we got to hear from Mehmet. Yes, I'm really happy that we were able to get him on the show tonight for a interview. It had been a long time coming, and I was really appreciative of Gavur for translating for us. And last minute, I know sometimes it's hard to get a translator lined up for those interviews. So we were really appreciative for him coming on the show tonight. Stream Day says, hi, Nemico. Thank you. You seem to be a genuine, warm person and help us all to keep us informed. Well, thank you so much, Stream Days. I try my very best, again, to keep you guys informed and to do my best to improve not only the content that I bring to you guys, but the way that I bring you guys that content. Again, guys, thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. This concludes our nightly report for May 2nd of 2022 on the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. To everybody that is interested in becoming part of our amazing community, I encourage you to do so. You can find a link to our Discord server in the description below. That's discord.gg/Nemico. Everybody's welcome to join. Make sure you read the rules. Soon, guys, we will have the website community site coming your way, where everybody will be able to join free of charge. It's going to be a wonderful place. I know there's a lot of people that don't use Discord, so we're going to have one unified place where we can archive and catalog all of not just the discussions that we have, the threads that we have, but all of this data that we've been able to aggregate since the beginning of the war and going on into the future. Okay, we're going to have one unified place to be able to do all of that, kind of a hub for all of our operations here. I'm really excited to bring that to you guys. We're also looking to get our partners, our partner channels and everything set up over on the Discord server. We're doing a lot of changes to the Discord server. We've been pretty swamped in that department. I've been trying to get some of those changes pushed out. So I hope to do a lot of that in the coming days as things have been pretty busy here. I've been having a hard time getting that stuff kind of written up and getting that stuff changed, get some of these new changes implemented. I have a lot of video content coming down the pipeline, guys, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already. It's the best way to get notified when new streams or new videos go live. Again, a lot of new content coming down the pipeline again in the coming weeks. So I'm really excited for that. If you're following on Twitch, if you're on Twitch, make sure to hit the follow button. Best way to get notified when new Twitch streams go live. If you're watching over here on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button. Best way to get the algorithms attention. Share the stream if you like this content. If you're looking for any of our sources to any of the stuff we talk about here, any of our sources we use on screen, you can find links to that stuff in the description below the YouTube live stream or below this video, depending on how you're watching this. Again, we upload all of our reports after they are live to our YouTube channel as a video for everybody that misses them. It usually takes a few hours for those to go live on the channel, guys. Again, if you're looking for any of our sources or anything like that, if you're looking for links to where you can support the channel, for links where you can support Ukraine, where you can donate, merch, all that stuff, you can find that down in the description below the stream, guys. Again, awesome to have everybody tuning back in this evening. Goski, thank you so much for subscribing over there to the YouTube channel. Welcome aboard to everybody that subscribed tonight, to everybody that smashed that like button tonight, to everybody that followed on Twitch tonight. Thank you guys so much. Thank you a ton to everybody that super chatted tonight, to everybody that subscribed over on Twitch. Again, guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you guys so much for the kind words. It means a lot to me, guys. Again, I've been pretty busy here, but I'm hoping to have some more all-day reports coming your guys' way, some all-day streams where we sit down, we talk, we go into depth on some things. I also still have the 24/7 cam stream up, guys. It'll be up right after we're done here live. It's going to be up 24/7, and I'll have to get those cameras refreshed for everybody. We're just coming on to dawn here in Ukraine in the next coming hours, so I'm going to make sure to have all those cameras auto-updating for you guys over there on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nemico Network. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight for our May 2nd Ukraine nightly report. Again, guys, to everybody that tuned in tonight, a huge shout out to you. Thank you so much. Until next time, guys, you're watching Nemico Network.
Something that will change our daily lives, that will change history, that will change history, that will change history, that will change history, that will change history, that will change history. That will be the most beautiful day.